After watching the film, what impressed you about Grant and what he was able to do Saturday?
No, I just like we talked about the other night. I think any true freshman that when you can win a game in the fashion that he did, he made some plays. Like I said, he had some throws that he missed. But I thought he got better as the game went on, and the fact that we didn't give the other team the ball, didn't turn the ball over for a true freshman. I think that's a big deal. So statistics are one thing. How he operated, not a lot of confusion. Kind of settled down. But if you go into a game like that, you have those type of statistics from a true freshman in a conference opener, and no turnovers. You're going to take that every time.
What do you think of Grant's mobility?
Yeah, I mean, I'm around him a bunch. So you guys are the ones that have just cast him into a pocket passer. So not me. I've seen him since junior in high school. So he's, he made some first downs. He got some yards. I think, obviously, he saw a little different scheme. Instead of him pulling it and running it all the time, but he was able to pull it on some read zone stuff and still flip it out and to the perimeter, which was effective.
How did you evaluate his misfires? Was it mechanics? Was it nerves?
Probably both.
Could you read his demeanor during the day? Could you tell that he wasn't nervous?
Yeah, he knew for a while. So, he was what the situation was. So he was prepared to play. Like I said, I think when you have a situation where basically we had a bye week where you had some young players in there that had an opportunity to get a lot of reps, meaning the running backs and the quarterbacks, right? Because the week before, JJ didn't take any reps either, and neither did Khalil. So coming into the game week, still weren't sure, but those guys, they knew that there was a high probability as far as early in the week that they were going to play somehow, or going to have to play and if not start. So I think, the combination that you saw with that kind of preparation, not just being, that the situation being sprung on them on Saturday afternoon or morning was different because those guys, they knew a week ahead that they were going to have to be, they were going to contribute in the game somehow. And I think, what you saw was Grant and Bam understand that, and their preparation was a little bit extra just because we had time.
What's the first thing you're going to tell him about maybe trying to be more accurate on some of those shorter throws to the flat?
Calm down, right? I mean, he's a little high with some things, then overcompensated. He's rushing some things. So that's first game. I mean, he's got talent. He's a winner, and he's going to be just fine. I mean, he's a young guy, and like I said, the operation of how he operated and the mechanics and the communication during the game I thought he did a very good job during the game of communicating with the team. It's a lot of times you get guys in there with they're missing signals or delay a game or the clock's running down and panicking. I thought he game operation wise he did a nice job for a true freshman.
What's been the key
True
to
freshman? You ever had another true freshman start a game and put up similar numbers at all?
I don't know. Maybe. I got to think. There's too many guys. So, you mean as a head coach? No, I don't know. Not right off the top of my head. I don't know. What was Kenny Hill? Was he a freshman or redshirt freshman? Yeah, I think Kenny was a redshirt freshman. I think he threw for 450 or 500 in the first game. So.
What's been the key to the fourth quarter performance the last two games? Shutting out opponents, coming back?
Yeah, I don't know. I think our guys believe in each other. I think as I said before, everybody points to different things. I think Coach Johnson's done a nice job in conditioning. The last couple weeks we've seen other guys kind of flopping around on the field, right, in the fourth quarter. Our guys have not been, for whatever reason. And you got to attribute that to a couple things. You got attribute that to strength and conditioning, right? And then, like I said, he's done a nice job. Our team looks different size-wise, but obviously we're in pretty good physical condition. And that showed the last couple weeks. It even showed early in Hawaii. He came back, but, it wasn't enough. So I think that's a big deal. I also think the coaching staff's made some nice adjustments too. You don't get those kind of numbers in the fourth quarter without conditioning, right, and mental toughness out of our team, and then some adjustments that are being made on the sideline or from upstairs with what we're doing offensively, defensively, and special teams wise. So, it's easier said than done, those kind of adjustments. But I think, as I said before, we know our team a little bit better now. There's different personnel out there in different situations, and then the communication on the sideline has really improved. And I think it's a combination of all those things that that's how you win close games.
What is the latest on Khalil and JJ as far as their availability?
No, I won't know. I won't know until we'll see what happens this week. We don't practice on Sunday, and we have treatment. So first time that we'll see the players, really coaches in a formal setting, will be this afternoon at 3:30 team meeting, and then we'll be on the field at night. So right now there's really no update, no change in status for either one of them.
How much of a coaching edge can it be when the other team's not sure who your quarterback's going to be?
I don't know. That's I don't know that's. The guys that are playing are so different, right? On paper, as styles of quarterbacks. So, the fact that you're preparing for a couple different guys, that's part of it, right? So, I don't know. One of them's going to run out there Saturday. So, and then there's video on both of them. So I don't know that there's much of an advantage either way right now.
How much does your offensive game plan and structure change when it's Khalil versus Grant? Because, like you said, their styles are so different.
I would rather not tell Mel Tucker what that is. I'm not being smart, but he's a pretty good coach, right? So he can recognize it. There's a difference between both guys, right? And obviously, we saw some different things Saturday night, particularly early against Grant. It's like anybody else, even the guy who plays Madden, everybody who's a football, you run a true freshman out there, the first thing they're going to do is start blitzing him, which UCLA did, right? All kinds of exotic blitzes, things we hadn't seen, dropping linemen out, bringing corner blitzes, things like that to get him rattled. And so, to your point, he had to get rid of the ball a bunch of times quickly. But, I don't know that changes things. And sometimes, that was the story early in the year, the first quarter against Tech, right? Until we ran quarterback counter for 84 yards, and that stopped that. So, there's two ways you can settle people down. You complete balls, looks like the wheel route kind of settled them down too. You got covered running backs if they free release. So there's different ways to do things. Just because the quarterback is not the runner that Khalil is, I don't know how many guys are, but there's other ways to do things to alleviate that pressure from blitzes, and that's why we started free releasing backs and getting the ball out quick.
You kind of went through this process with Khalil last year with the ankle. How do you interact, or how do you make the decision as far as interacting with him? Are you asking him how he feels? Are you watching him run? What goes into
We talk all the time. We talked last week. Our medical staff and our training staff, are with him daily. Where he feels, I think, in some ways, because he's been through this before, he kind of has a good feel for where he is. And, the whole deal last week was, he wanted to play in the worst way. That's 2 years in a row he's missed UCLA, which, is right down the street from where he grew up. So he tried like crazy, and then it wasn't right. And as I said before, we're not going to put he or JJ or any player in this program in harm's way, particularly guys who, when you have lower leg issues, ankle, feet, knees, things like that. And let's be honest, those two guys, that's how they thrive, right? By changing direction, by running, by doing a lot of things. So, for those guys, it's important for them to be healthy, and luckily, we had a bye week to get some other guys ready, and I think the preparation of the running backs and being able to, it was going to be a running back by committee situation, and which was Saturday night, and those guys were all effective, and so was Grant.
After watching the film, what happened on that Lorenzo Burns interception?
What do you mean?
Just like, was the interception more a result of like DGRs like didn't see him in like the passing lane, or like, what did Burns do?
I don't know. I mean, he was fine. I mean, it was just coverage, zone coverage. So, I thought we mixed it up pretty well last night. They got to us a couple times and found some matchups when we were in man-to-man, particularly late in the game. We get tight end loose on Pandy, but we played. I think we zone blitzed a little bit more and popped some guys out, even though sometimes they weren't effective. They were in the throwing lane, and bars popped out of there 295, and they just threw it right by him, behind him. But I think the mixture of zone and man, and it hasn't changed. I think if we can continue, if Chase and Burns are really savvy players, right, and they've shown that all year, and we missed them, missed those guys last year, but this year they've been extremely effective in man and zone, and have come up with turnovers, and that's part of mixing those coverages and doing a lot of different things. Those guys are really savvy players.
How do you compare that the big hit on DCR, obviously not come out of the game? He wasn't on the field the last two possessions. What was the reasoning behind that?
Well, we're doing a little bit of different things there, trying to rotate our players. UCLA went into a situation where they were not substituting in 2 minutes. So I think if you watch the whole game, we've been able to roll the D-line quite consistently, right? And when the way that works right now is if they substitute, we have the right to match, right? So we've been rolling, I think there was a number, I don't know how many exactly, but it was, we were rolling 3 D linemen at a time, sometimes 4. They went into a 2-minute mode at the end of the game and did not substitute coming down the field. And they were hurry up, no huddle, and it really puts you in a position where, you're trying to get guys on and off the field, but, we need him out there. We need him out there in that situation.
You mentioned Saturday about the studies that have been done on icing the kicker. Curious to know what those studies have shown.
Not much. Not much consistency, right? So, it's what it is. Like I said, you got timeouts. I don't get any more of them in overtime. They don't add up. You don't get to take them home. So, at that situation, it was just, particularly when you're at home, right? You take the time out and get organized yourself, and just have the guy think about it a little bit more.
Overall thoughts on Colorado?
A good team. They're playing with a lot of energy. Mel Tucker, is a excellent football coach. Whether it's been in the NFL, his time and have been a lot of places. He's been. His experience speaks for itself. And in Alabama and at Georgia, you can see the toughness of this team. It's a reflection of the head coach. They've got. They've been in some close games and won. They've been on the field with a lot of different people, playing with a lot of energy. That's kind of a reflection of look at some guys, a little bit like us. That they've been in close games and they've battled. They've got playmakers. That all over the place. You start talking about Chenault, whether he plays or not. He didn't play against us last year. He's if not the best player in this whole league, just because of his size, his speed. They get him the ball however they can. And Montez is an experienced quarterback who's mobile. Has got a bunch of weapons. They get him out of there, and as you look up at the last couple of weeks, and Tony Brown's been exceptional, right? And with what he's done with his hands on the ball and explosive players on the perimeter, they're doing a nice job offensively. And then defensively, their Mike linebackers. I mean, you watch him; it's kind of funny. It's a lot like watching Schooler, right? These guys are averaging 10 tackles a game. He can run, he can cover. They got good players and they're playing hard. And it'll be a real test for us. Got to go on the road there, and the crowd's been good there. They got a lot to be excited about. But this will be a good game.
What do you remember about Khalil's performance down there a couple years ago?
I don't. Wasn't here.
Is there any difference between playing on grass and turf nowadays? There's so few grass fields. Colorado's is maybe the thicker grass.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we don't. It may be. We'll see when we get there. I don't know that. I don't know if there's that big a difference anymore.
What went into your philosophy about not allowing true freshmen to speak to the media?
Well, there's a lot of things. Number one, we get guys from all over the country in different backgrounds, and we personally, I mean, in every place I've been, we do some professional media training for these young guys, so that when they present themselves publicly, it presents the right message for themselves and for the university, and how they articulate what's on their mind and how they do things becomes important because it's there forever. So from a personal standpoint, we want to make sure that those guys are prepared to be able to handle a microphone, handle these kind of questions, and from a university standpoint also to give them the best chance. Because, hey, once it's out there, it's out there. I've been doing this 30-some years. I still screw this thing up, right? So a guy who just walks in the door and who doesn't really know what's happening, I think it's my job and it's the university's job to help prepare young guys for these types of situations and give them the best opportunity to put their best self forward and for themselves future-wise and professionally and for the university.
Penalties, again, were a problem.
Yes.
You guys have been in double digits 3 of the 4 games
Yeah.
this year. What have you done or what can you do to curb that?
We are working on that, and there's some things that we can do. We've been up, and that's ridiculous. And we go 1 week and it's 5, and then 10 this week. We're not a good enough football team to just give away yardage like that. And you saw some guys who were in those situations who have left the game, not because the officials have taken them out, but we've taken them out. And so our understanding of what that needs to be and what that looks like, obviously I haven't done a good enough job of that up till now, but that's going to change.
Colin Schooler said Saturday night that, I think his quote was, "We haven't played to our full potential on the road very often." Why do you think that's been the case, and how do you go about changing it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I think this team's different. You guys asked me about 2 years ago. I wasn't here. Last year, how we played on the road or how we played, I'm not real concerned about it. What I am concerned about is right now. I think this team's got some juice right now. I think they've got some confidence. I think we've got more depth, and we're an older team. Like I said the other day, after the game last night, what do we have? 4 seniors start the game, 3 or 4, right? So, youth and inexperience maybe a year ago had a little bit to do with that. But, these guys are a year older, but we don't have a lot of seniors. So, when that happens, when you go on the road, it's just you. So it's a different environment. But I think these guys will be able to handle it a little bit better, just because of the number of guys that we have that played, even though they're not seniors.
You mentioned that you were rolling your defensive linemen in and out. What are you liking about those rotations right now and what they're doing?
No, I mean, I think it's a lot different than last year where we had guys playing, 75, 80 plays and getting worn down. Again, back to the question earlier about fourth quarter, right? We got guys playing all those plays. That shows up. And it showed up last year with our defensive front. So I think all those things go hand in hand. The fact that, hey, look, we've got to get these guys in the game and keep these guys fresh, because you got 290-pound guys out there who can't be playing 80, 90 plays a game. So that rotation for the last couple of weeks, I think, has really helped us, down the stretch and in the fourth quarter.
Even though the play got called back because of penalty, what did Brian Castile show you on that?
Oh yeah, he's done. I mean, he's shown us that since I've been here. I mean, the guy's, he's got substance. He's a little thick guy, got a running back kind of body, but has got some explosive power and can run. So, he's done that even in situations where he hasn't gone that far, 40, 50 yards, but he has split defenders and gotten yards for first downs on quick screens and things like that. So, he's a tough guy, and he's doing a nice job. He did a nice job making decision making back on punt return. So no, he's he's a football player, and we like to get it to him as many times as we can. Trying to get him loose on punt return, but this is another team. That you look at where they are right now. This is another great return team, kickoff return team. They got explosive players back there. I think they may be leading the league now. We go from one team to the other, and so those guys that are back there are they're what, 45.4 yards a punt. So their kicking game this week will be another challenge. Just like last week, the kicking game will have a big effect on the outcome of this game. They haven't missed a field goal. Punters averaging 45, and they've got explosive kick returners and 30-some yards a deal. So, again, we're gonna have to be on top of our game, special teams wise, like we were last Saturday night.
Kevin, what are your initial thoughts on California passing the pay play?
I don't really have any thoughts on that right now. There's so much going on with that, and so many, just blatant statements right now. I really don't have a comment on that.
You think it's change recruiting? I mean,
I don't know. When does it go in effect? 23? Yeah. So, I think there'll be a lot of different changes before 2023 to this whole thing, right? We've been talking about it for a while. So, I'll answer it in 2023. How about that? Thanks.